All right. So as Mike finishes up a part of his coding project, we're going to welcome you to episode 121 of Technically Working. And I know the episode number because I was
22.
thinking about it all week. And this is the show for people who, aren't sure if the show started yet or not.
Yeah, Callum.
Starting
This
the show.
is the show, Callum.
JJ.
And Stephen.
And everybody else. This is the show. So I'm going to start off with explanation of a little bit of experiment. So first off, if the show's audio comes out weird at all, it is most likely my fault because I'm doing an experiment. I'll tell you why. And what the experiment is. So I'm doing the experiment because it is an experiment and we have to test these things to see how they're going to work. So right now I'm connecting and talking to Mike, still using the Zoom H5 Studio. That's kind of my on-the-go audio interface now.
Thanks, AT Guys. ATGuys.com/Zoom.
Yeah, let's go with that. atguys.com/Zoom. Now I got to go make that happen.
It happens.
Wait, it works already?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So we knew we were talking about this whole time. And the H5 Studio is properly categorized. So yeah, atguys.com/Zoom.
Yeah, check out the range of recorders. As I mentioned before, I've settled on the H5 Studio kind of as my, portable on-the-go interface. The H6 is still around if I need to do something like big, huge. I need, 4 or 6 microphones hooked up or something. But this is now going into the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is currently running beta 4, I think, developer beta 4 of iOS 26 through Zoom. For whatever weird reason, when I connected, Mike could absolutely hear VoiceOver.
Yes.
He probably still could hear VoiceOver if I picked up the phone and turned it on, but it's on the floor and I'm not going to touch it. But he couldn't hear me at all, which is weird. So the way I solved that problem, because usually when I come into whenever I'm using a Zoom recorder for my audio interface, I always set it to multi-track. So if I, have to record locally on the device itself, I get individual tracks for everybody because I'm somewhat of a professional.
Somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat.
Hey, but I did hear you turn original sound on, so thank you. I observed that.
I did that, even though it says original sound is not
supported by
by mobile
iPhone
and tablet.
Yeah. That's what it was, on mobile and
give
tablet.
me the option and let me select it. So
it doesn't make sense.
Maybe
and it enabled because it dropped your audio of VoiceOver there for a minute. So Zoom doesn't know what's supported or not.
Yeah. The only thing I can think is maybe it means if you're using the default microphone.
Maybe.
It doesn't work.
But when you did whatever you did before I could hear you, what you were getting ready to talk about, I heard it switch to, I'm guessing, the internal mic and then switch back.
Okay.
And I tried talking to you and I don't think you heard me.
No, I could hear you the whole time. You just couldn't hear me.
Oh.
Yeah, I even heard you say, I can let you hear my voiceover too if you want.
And then I think I let you listen to something for a minute. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, I heard it, but I didn't
WordPress.
I was trying to fix stuff.
Yeah.
So we're using the Zoom to go into, we're using the Zoom recorder to go into Zoom on the iPhone. This isn't, so I did go up to Control Center and there's a controller I put in there that I have to review that I tapped on that brought up what was actively using my microphone, and it let me switch the microphone from the whatever the system default was to, actually using the Zoom, which I actually thought at that point in time was going to resolve the problem and Mike would hear me, but no, he didn't. So I had to change from multi-channel. I had to exit out of USB interface mode and then go back in and set the settings to be stereo instead of multi-track. And now Mike can hear me.
Yep.
So here we are.
Welcome. Episode. So next week, are you going to record from the Pixel, or have you tried that?
I have not tried recording from the Pixel, and I'm absolutely not screwing with anything. I'm going to have the MacBook set up and everything.
Oh, next week you'll have the MacBook set up? Is that what you're? Yeah.
Yeah. Next week we'll do things the way they're supposed to be done. Just in case we won't need any weird stuff happening, man. That's already going to be a weird enough recording session as it is.
Oh, Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh,
Yeah.
well, we need to talk about that, because are we recording that one and then are we recording another one to come out for 123 and using that one in the can, or is that going to come out on Monday?
Yeah, we do need to talk about that because I thought about it after. Well, I thought about it like sometime this morning. I was like, maybe me and Mike should jump on and do an additional recording so we can push that out next Monday, giving you more time, to do a multi-person editing job.
I mean, it's really not that bad. I'm just going to pretty much do live to tape. Live to bite, not live to tape.
Kids ask your parents.
Yeah.
It's funny. We probably actually do have people who listen to us who are young enough that they don't actually know what stop the record means or live to tape actually refers to.
That's scary. I don't want to think about that. Okay. I really don't want to think about that. Nicholas, it was Nicholas or Ben, one of them did not know what a VHS was. I'm like, how? Okay. I think it was Nicholas. He did not know what a VHS tape was. So I've been playing with Pocket Casts.
Cool. So tell me your thoughts on Pocket Cast. I'm going to share some of mine, even though I'm going to continue using it. Like, I guess we'll go ahead and spoil that up front. But
me too.
Yeah, there are some things. So
I have canceled my Castro subscription. So over the last week, because I think I picked it up on Saturday of last week, I've been using Pocket Cast, not Castro, Pocket Cast Premium. I got a 2-month trial. Damashe gave me a 2-month trial. I'll tell you about that experience here in a second, because, remind me about that, and I'll give people a hint. It's not the most intuitive. And if you want one, reach out. And I don't know if Damashe, can you still give them away? Or since you gave one away, did it go away?
Think so, because the button still appears there.
Okay. Yeah, the button appears for me now too. So if you're interested in trying Pocket Cast out, reach out to us and we can probably hook you up. Because if you take the time to reach out to us, then we'll take the time to send you the link. Anyways, I have listened to 5 hours of podcasts. I've saved 3 hours. That's probably my favorite feature of the whole app. Just saying. The stats, because I think I remember liking that in the past when I played with Pocket Casts. And I'm currently subscribed to 56 podcasts, which is a significantly less amount of podcasts than I have been subscribed to in the past. Because in the past it was like 1,100 because I took Jeff's OPML file. So 56 podcasts, listened to 5 hours, saved 3, and I've been doing a bit of podcast, convention editing. So I haven't, and hanging out with Nicholas. He goes home on Tuesday. So I've been doing a little bit of all of that. So I have not been really listening to as much podcasts as I normally would. However, the experience with it is not bad. A couple of I don't want to call them problems, but things that came up that ChatGPT helped me find some solutions to. So number one, really good rotor support in the filters tab. You can set up filters to display different types of content, and most of the time I work out of my new filter, and that gives me all of the new episodes at the top, and as you scroll down it gets to older episodes. You can flick up or flick down to perform different actions on each episode, including add up next or add to end of your queue that you're listening to, your playback queue. I just discovered today that if you go over to the, what do they call that tab, Damashe? The queue, it's not queue, it is
up next.
Up next. Thank you. If you go to your up next tab, at the top, there's a heading that tells you how long it'll take you to get through that entire up next queue. And that's pretty cool. I think that's at 1x speed. I don't know. I need to experiment with that, but I thought that was kind of handy when I found that today. One of my complaints though was if I was looking at my up next queue and I saw an episode that I wanted to listen to, I would have to double tap on that. And then I would have to double tap on the play button. And that's a little thing, but I did, again, with ChatGPT's help, find a solution to solve that problem. If you go into your profile tab in the bottom right-hand corner, tap on settings in the top right-hand corner, tap on general, and then scroll down, there's an option that you can turn on that says play on tap for up next. And then if you tap an episode for up next, or double tap if using VoiceOver, it'll start playing so you don't have to hit the play button. That is not available in your filters though. So just be aware of that in filters. If you want to start playing an episode, you have to tap the episode and then tap the play button. ChatGPT's suggestion, because Reddit suggested it was in your filter, tap on the play all, and then that'll add everything to your up next queue. And then you can go tap on the episode to start playing them again. I'm not going to do that because that sounds horrific. I did learn that you can go into your up next and hit, I think it's shuffle on premium is what it's called. And that'll randomly, it doesn't change the order of your up next, but it will randomly select an episode to play after your current episode. I'm like, that could be fun and interestingly annoying. I might have to play with that a little bit to see how that comes out, because then it'd be really like your own talk radio. Now to some frustrations. And I think I'm gonna bring something up because you and I did kind of talk about this a little bit yesterday, and we both were frustrated by this fact. I expected that when I signed in to Pocket Cast on the iPhone and the Pixel, that if I paused an episode on the iPhone and then opened the Pixel and gave it a couple of seconds and then hit play, it would resume from where I paused the episode. That does not appear to be the case. More often than not, what happens is it starts the currently playing episode over on the Pixel. And that was a little frustrating because I wanted to, I don't remember what I was doing, but I wanted to just pick up the Pixel and continue listening to a podcast. So that could be some feedback to Automatic. I don't know how open to feedback they are / what they've heard. Jeff mentioned that there's a Windows app for Pocket Cast, and he asked me what the accessibility of that was like. I have not played with that because I just heard about that today, so I'm going to go find that and check that out and see what that experience is like. I have not put Pocket Cast on the Mac. Have you?
I haven't, because I actually didn't know the app worked on the Mac. I was going to check out their website because that's another way that you can go play your podcast. Now, for me, I have that same. Now, there are occasions where I open the app on a different device, and maybe it's a time thing where it does pick up, like it'll kind of skip back a few seconds or so from where I was.
That's doable.
And then pick up, but it'll pick up kind of where I was in the episode. But yeah, I'm not sure. It hasn't been a consistent experience. I'll say that. Like, I would say for me, it's probably 60-40. It's going to start the episode over or randomly start playing whatever I was listening to on the device I just picked up first. And then at some point, the audio will cut out and then it'll start over with whatever I was listening to. So let me say that a different way because that sounds very confusing. So let's say I'm listening to Security Now on the iPhone. Mm-hmm. And then I put down the iPhone and go off and do some stuff and come back. And the next time I got the Pixel in my hand, I pop an earbud in and it's like, oh, I want to finish listening to that episode of Security Now. Well, let's say the last time I was listening to podcasts on the Pixel, I was listening to Daily Tech News. Well, about 40% of the time, if I open Pocket Cast, that's one thing that slightly annoys me because I feel like it should sync in the background. Mm-hmm. So I have to go open. A setting. I mean, man, everything's turned on. It downloads, updates episodes in the background.
True, yeah.
But so I have to go open the app, wait for a second, and then tap the play button that's at the bottom of the screen. And about 40% of the time, it will pick back up with the Security Now. But sometimes it would, out of the other 60% of the time, it would either resume playing the episode in progress that was last playing on the Pixel, and then after a second, it'll cut that audio off and then start Security Now over. Or it'll just start Security Now over, right? Which is irritating because not everybody has chapters. Now I see the use for chapters, but still not everybody has chapters. Yeah, scrub through the episode. It's slightly annoying, right? It works, but it's just not consistent, is one thing. I haven't really played around a lot with filters as of yet because I was trying to get to get comfortable with some other features of the app and also adjust my behavior because I am very used to flicking down on an episode no matter where it is and having a play option right there to just double tap and start playing.
Yep.
That not being on the rotor on iOS is aggravating. And on the Pixel within the podcast list, when you're looking at actual episodes of podcasts, there's not rotor actions there either, or whatever they would be called on, whatever they're called on Android. They don't have them. There are actions on the podcast list, like you're looking at the list of podcasts you're subscribed to. And maybe I got that backwards, but it's one of those. My stats, I did not look up, but the last time I looked at them, I think I listened to like 13 days. Now, my stats go back a little further than yours because I had used Pocket Cast in the past and I never deleted the account. I just imported, deleted everything and then re-imported podcast this time. So it still has old stats, but I believe I had something like 13 days of listen time and I don't know, like 8 hours or so. I don't know. There was an 8 and something saved. I forget exactly what it was.
So when you gifted the 2 months free of premium, I went to iOS and I tapped on it and I installed the app and I'm like, I don't remember if I signed in with Apple or signed in with Google or what I did. So I'm going to sign in with Google because I plan to use this with the Pixel was my thought. So I tapped on sign in with Google and it created a new account, which I was okay with that. It didn't hurt my feelings at all. But then I tapped on the redeem button because there was a redeem 2 months free because I tapped on the link for you. And it said that only new subscribers are able to redeem this. However, because Apple App Store knew that I had a paid account in the past for a little bit, it did not let me redeem it. Well, that sucks. And so what I ended up doing is I'm like, I wonder. And I emailed the link you sent me to the Pixel phone. Then I tapped on it on the Pixel phone, installed Pocket Cast, signed in with the same account, and signed up for a free trial through the Google Play Store. And that works. So if you've been in that situation and you have access to both platforms, there's a secret.
Yeah, or try it on the web. Like it will probably work on
the web. Gave me an error.
Okay.
Because that was my first thought was I'm like, I'll just do this on the web. But it gave me a page not found error. But then when I copied the link over and emailed it to the Pixel and tapped on it. So I think it has to open in the app itself in order for it to work.
Huh. Well, that seems kind of short-sighted too, because, there are quite a few people who listen to podcasts in their browser because maybe their work computer won't let them install apps. So, and they can't take their phone in or whatever. Yeah, so that is interesting that it holds on because I would have thought the subscription from their end of things would have been tied to the account that you had. Like I could see if you signed in with a previous account and tried it. It's like, oh no, you've already been a subscriber before, but they're tying it actually to your Apple.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense, though, because then what would stop Damashe from keeping the same link and creating multiple accounts to sign up? But still, it's
the irritation of having to re-import your podcast all the time and then delete all the ones that you've already listened to instead of having 623 episodes of a podcast. Or in the case of Daily Tech News, like, I don't know. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Haven't even looked. You do know I know you've found this button, the archive all button.
Yep.
Yeah.
But here's what I will do for shows. Like, here's what I've done. I have done that for a few shows because, like, I've listened to everything up to that point before I switched over to Pocket Cast. For shows where I had to curate, like, what I had listened to, like, I could kind of go back and get a general idea. Like, okay, I hadn't listened to this episode from this day. There's a select podcast option. And at the top, there's a button that says select all. I would hit select all and then deselect the episodes that I wanted to keep and then hit archive to get rid of the ones that, were just brought in because it pulled the entire feed. All in all, though, it's a decent app. Obviously there are lots of differences here. I have been a staunch Overcast user for 11, when did the app come out? 2014, 2013, to at least 11 years, 12 years or something. I've tried Castro, I've tried Pocket Cast in the past, and ultimately always went back to Overcast. But one thing that pushed me into Pocket Cast and really stretching it to see how much I could use it was the fact that I knew I was going to be picking up different devices around the house. Sometimes I have the iPhone, sometimes I have the Pixel. Now, when I'm out and about, I've got the Pixel for sure because that's where the phone calls come to. But just moving around the house or things like that, I will have either phone because I will walk off and have an iPhone outside and don't even know where the Pixel is until somebody brings it to me. This was ringing and it said such and such, and I was like, oh, okay, let me call them back. I have not because I don't see a point to it, and there's not a show that I've come across that only provides video. But one difference in Overcast and Pocket Cast is you can play videos there. You can subscribe to video podcasts there, which you can also do in Castro. Overcast is, to my knowledge at least, the only podcast player that I have used. I know for sure the only podcast player that I've used that does not allow you to subscribe to video podcasts. It's audio only. But there are some neat looking filter options and queuing options for Pocket Cast that I'm going to get into. I got to think about building myself like a couple of different property playlists. I'm not sure what the folders would be useful for.
I was just going to ask you that because I was looking at them like, what do you think the folders are used for?
I guess you could group you could categorize your podcast if you wanted to, like, oh, this is this type, or these go into this folder, that goes into that folder. I mean, I could see, I just don't see I can see a use for it for certain people, but I just don't see a use case for myself when it comes to folders. Bookmarks are an interesting feature. I can't remember if these are also in Castro or not. But you're able to kind of put a bookmark in an episode. So like, oh, I want to remember that thing. So like you go back to that bookmark and pull it up and jump right to that spot in the episode. I'm curious, and I should go subscribe to the technically working feed, the public feed, and rate our podcast inside of Pocket Cast to see how does that show up for us on the other end. Right? Because I see some podcasts have been rated and some haven't. I don't know if that's just Pocket Cast ratings or if they're tied into some kind of database somewhere centrally or what. But that's something I think I should do just to get an idea of how that shows up in case people start rating our show in Pocket Cast. We'll know that they did that.
Yeah, we will probably check back in with it because I think it will definitely be part of my life in the next little while. I'm going to give it the full 2 months and then we'll determine if I'm going to buy it. Because, 2 months from now, we'll be getting ready for my cruise. So I'll need to, we'll have to talk about tech on that because I am not paying for the Wi-Fi on the cruise. I've made that decision. Mallory might, but I am not paying for my Wi-Fi on the cruise because I've heard nothing but horror stories about it, so I don't want to be disappointed. And I think it'd be a good opportunity for me to be disconnected. And I think we all need to have a little bit of disconnection time.
Yeah. So download some.
Yep.
Download some books, download some of the episodic podcasts.
Yeah. Like some audio drama podcasts.
Yeah.
I need to get back into those. I miss some of those. There were some good ones out there too. Yeah. Reddit. I'm not going to get it. If you Google Reddit audio drama podcasts, you'll find a subreddit with all of them. Well, not all of them, but with a lot of them. It's a good place to get started. Reddit's amazing. I like Reddit.
Yeah. Why does dystopia not show up in the share sheet on iOS still, even though it's in the App Store?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't even have that app installed.
I do, because I still like the way it does Reddit.
Yes. I deleted my Reddit account.
So I have actually I have two, because the first Reddit account I have, of course, was my name, Damashe. I cannot get into it because I don't remember what email I use, and every time I try to put in an email, and apparently I didn't save it, so I don't know. But I want that account back because that's the one I had started actually working on and like subscribe to certain subreddits and things like that. And like the other Reddit account I have, I just haven't signed back into it because I'm like, I really don't want to use that account because I don't feel like going through and doing all that setup anymore. And plus the username is stupid. So right now I just browse Reddit, not logged in dystopia.
So I heard GPT 5.0 is probably coming out next week.
Yeah, I just saw a notification maybe a couple hours ago on my phone about Claude has restricted or blocked OpenAI's access to Claude's API amidst claims about something or another. I didn't actually open a notification.
Oh.
It's like, so what's going on there?
Don't take my Claude Sonnet 4 away from me in GitHub Copilot, please. Because that is magic. That's even more magical than beast mode. So I spent $12 more last month than my GitHub Copilot subscription because Claude Sonnet 4 is so darn good, and I like it.
That's what I've been using in the on the command line is Claude Code. Like I have Codex from OpenAI installed. I don't think I've actually configured it, but I haven't installed. I have just today installed the Copilot command line tool with the GitHub CLI. So I haven't set that up at all. But I've been using Claude Code. Like the whole README that I wrote, well, I didn't write nothing. The README that exists in your repo now was all Claude. Like I looked at it. I did actually look at it and read through the entire thing. I was like, oh, that is actually hella good for how it explains what it does. Okay, I guess we're good.
Yeah, looked pretty good to me.
Then I asked Claude, like, how do I, when I had to pull updates, I needed to cancel a commit I had made and then pull updates and then redo or update the pull request. And then I went ahead and merged them in so we wouldn't get out of sync again. Like the things that I couldn't remember or wasn't sure how to do, like I asked Claude Code in the terminal. So that's actually been a good experience, especially since I used Mike's advice from probably 5 episodes ago. Where he's like, yeah, go through terminal, find all those little weird characters and then put them in VoiceOver's pronunciation and just leave a blank space. And like, it was a little tedious to get all of them, but I got all of them. So I don't hear up arrow, 3 dashes, vertical line, right, northeastward arrow. I don't hear none of that crap.
Yeah. And every once in a while you'll hear one, and you've probably gotten over this now, but when you hear one, you're like, I got to get this one too, because that one, I missed it.
Yeah, I actually haven't heard one in a while, like at least a month.
Good.
I haven't heard one, so I'm good. And I was going to I was going to throw a post out on Mastodon, and I just didn't do it yet. So I guess I'm doing it now. If there's a better terminal app than Terminal on Mac OS, like legitimately there's benefits to it, not just I want to be weird and use something, different because, I like the Mac, but I don't like Apple type of crap. Like if there's a legitimate benefit to switching to something else, be glad to hear about it.
Yeah.
I've tried iTerm too in the past. I didn't like it probably 9 years ago, 8-9 years ago. I didn't like it. And keep in mind, I also have my terminal pretty well set up with my bash prompt and all of that stuff. So like, yeah, it's got to be a major benefit to it.
Yeah,
like maybe it's easier to navigate back in history. Huh?
I said there's got to be a decent incentive. So you pulled the project. So you have a local version of it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I created a new branch last week.
I haven't pulled since you created that branch.
Okay. When you pull, will it pull that branch too?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm at a point where I'm using the program. Like it's this last week I ran the program. I had to come up with some utilities because some of the issues that we faced in the past, in the previous week, were a couple of fold. So now there is a tools menu, and I'm pulling it up right now so I can tell you what it's. I love this mixer setup. You don't even know I'm pulling it up on the Windows machine, but everything's.
Oh, quick side note: I got the boom arm hanging from the shelf up here too.
Oh, sweet! How'd you manage that?
Just had to do a little tightening up of some stuff, and then I'm kind of not sitting at the best position, but it's not really a great position to sit in here anyway, so it works. And we're good, so I don't have to keep moving the microphone. As long as I stay right here, I'm on mic, which is great.
There you go. And you stay, and it still sounds good. So I went to create the tools menu. I'm going to go into the tools menu real quick. And we've reorganized this. Now there's a couple of options. There's generation submenu, data quality submenu, Zoom Room Manager. I got a story about that one, and Zoom Room Editor, which I'm probably going to, Quick Zoom Editor, which I'm probably going to get rid of that one and just use the Zoom Room Manager. Last week so I generate a week ahead of schedules on Thursdays, send that out to event planners, and then we start working from that schedule on Sunday. So on Thursday, the 31st, I sent out the schedule for August 3rd to the 9th. And we're going to we technically start working from the August 3rd schedule on Friday, because Friday evenings, what?
You technically start working.
Technically working from the August 3rd schedule on Friday evenings, because we send out a Saturday and Sunday schedule. So Sundays from the next week's schedule. Did not account for that in my generation. We'll talk about that in a couple of moments. So that'll be a feature of next week. So last week, when I generated the schedule on the Thursday before the 31st, there were some challenges, and we talked briefly about that on Saturday. And it took me several hours on that previous Thursday to get the schedule out. And even when I got it out, there were several errors that I had to work my way through. As I worked my way through those errors, the updated data went into the tool. So the anticipation is that next time we encounter those particular events that had issues, they would not have errors again. Therefore, we could just start cleaning up the data integrity here in a moment we'll talk about, or data quality we'll talk about. And so we built that out and got a lot of that data fixed. And then this past Thursday, I generated the schedule, and it went very smoothly. So for example, I went into the data quality submenu, and then there's a events without facilitators, which means that it was missing data from the import. And I was able to see a list of all of the events in the next week that I didn't have a facilitator name associated with it. And I was able to quickly associate the facilitators there. And then there's an events missing descriptions. That tool I haven't got working properly yet, but it did inspire me to go back and look through a lot of the events to make sure that each of them have descriptions. Actually, did this work? Let me see. Yeah, this one is not working as it should be. I have the bare bones of it in place, but we need to work on accessing data from the database in order to get that data, but eventually that'll be working as well. And then the generation tool, I have a keystroke assigned to generate weekly schedule, and that's Control G, and that generates that next week's schedule. I then said, well, if I'm generating a schedule and we don't want the Zoom links associated with the schedule because we're going to post it on the acb.org website, how can I make that process easier for the person who is posting that? And went through and said, well, let's just strip out the Zoom links, the meeting IDs, and the passcodes. And so now we have a second option called Generate Clean Weekly Schedule, which generates just the time, title, and description of events, and then skips over everything else not related. Then I said, well, that's good, but what about for when we need to record it for our phone system? Because our phone system needs to give people the meeting ID and passcode, but we don't want to publish links in the meeting ID and passcode on the website. So how can I do that? And now I have a third option in this generation menu called Generate Phone Script Schedule, which generates the day and then the time and title of the event, description, and then meeting ID and passcode, because we use the same Zoom dial-in phone number. We don't send you 30 dial-in phone numbers. You get one. If you know other ones, you can dial into those other ones, or you dial the one number that we include. So that makes it easier for our readers, or AI in the future maybe, but right now readers, to read the schedule for recording and putting on the phone system. And then I have two more generation items in this menu. I have generate daily schedule with Control D. And if I have a day highlighted in the UI and I hit Control D, it creates the same exact schedule for the weekly schedule, which has everything in it: Zoom links, meeting IDs, passcodes, and one-touch dial, as well as descriptions, titles, and times. But it only does it for that day that's selected. And it puts that into a Word document so I can add my information I need and then move that over to an email and send that out. And then the last thing that I have here is generate hosting portal. This takes all of the events, it loops through, it matches the Zoom account with, or the Zoom meeting with the Zoom account, because we manage 43 Zoom meetings across 7 different Zoom accounts. So it says, oh, this one's in COM2. We'll use Tech Lab. It says, Tech Lab. So that is COM3, and then it builds the spreadsheet out for me and includes the account name plus the meeting name in the same cell. So it knows to loop through, and if Sunday is there, then it does Sundays all in the left column, and then Monday, and then Tuesday all the way down that left column A. And then it goes through and does all of the titles for the event in the proper order. And then in column C, it does the account name space meeting name. So COM3 space Tech Lab. And then in column D, it puts an X there until we have a host. That's one of my newer features that I'm going to work on in the near future. In column E, it has the moderator. If this room is in Clubhouse, it'll put an X there because I have a checkbox in the UI saying that it is in Clubhouse. If it's not in Clubhouse, then it just leaves that column blank, which is what we want. And then in column F, I think we are at now. Yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F. In column F, it has the facilitator's name. And so that information is put in the UI. So it should always have a facilitator there, or I can't save an event. And so that information is added into column F. And then column G has a number in it if it's being streamed, because I put a number in the UI. Oh, I got to get back to that in a moment. Found a little bug there. But you put a number in the UI, so 5 or 6, and then that A will create a acbmedia.org/number link in the schedule that it generates. It also puts the text that says ask Alexa to tell ACB Media to play, and then the number. But it also puts that number in the column for the spreadsheet, which tells our streamers, hey, we need someone to stream on this channel number. But if there's no number there, then it leaves that cell blank. And then the last section in the sheet is for our broadcaster. That's the person who's going to broadcast from Zoom into Clubhouse. If the Clubhouse checkbox is not checked, there's nothing there, or there'll be an X there, and our volunteers will go in and put their name there if there's an X in the Google Sheet. So that's the current iteration of what it does. And there's still a lot of copying and pasting, but I had Thursday's schedule out in about 90 minutes versus the 5 hours I spent the previous Thursday. And this coming Thursday will be a lot faster because most of that 90 minutes from this past Thursday, the 31st, of putting the schedule together to send out to event facilitators was spent updating data that's now updated because I marked the box that says update this and all upcoming events. And I found a couple of little bugs in the script while I was generating that I needed to fix and that have been done. For example, for some reason, there was a 0 in one of our columns. In one of our stream for the events. And so it said, listen on ACB Media 0. So that was interesting because there is no ACB Media 0. But now that's the joke. If we do any testing, it's going to be on ACB Media 0. And I also have discovered, and I'll wrap it up here with this, with last week's schedule, I sent out an email on Monday night for Tuesday, and there's an event called Tuesday Topics. People clicked on the link, and it gave them an error. And I went and I looked and I don't understand why there's an error here. What is going on? And then I discovered that the data that I brought into the database was correct, according to the script. However, the data that I brought into the database was using an an old retired Zoom link for that particular call that was no longer valid. And I said, okay, well, let me go fix this and resend an email. And I resent the email. And I'm like, well, I need to fix this because this is a weekly call. And I realized I don't have a way to edit the Zoom details in my program. So that's where the Zoom Room Manager came into. Well, first it was a quick Zoom editor because I'm like, I need to edit this quickly. And so that's where that came into play. So now I can edit the Zoom links that are stored in the database. And then what the tool does is, oh, I didn't tell you about that logic. So if I go and add a new event to the tool, and then it doesn't ask me what Zoom room I want to put it in. I fill out all the details and I hit save. Then it pops up a dialog and it asks me, this is a little tricky to get set up, but it asks me what Zoom meeting do you want to put this room in? And it shows me all 7 of our Zoom accounts with all of the meeting names inside the Zoom accounts. And I hit enter on whatever that meeting name is, and it inserts all the details in the relative places. One of the problems that I had while doing this manually is because events technically start 10 minutes before their event is actually set to start. So if we're starting at 7 p.m., the event is opened at 6:50 p.m. so people can get in and get set up and everything. So that means that if I have an event in the same Zoom account that starts at 6 p.m., opening a Zoom room at 6:50 p.m. for an hour-long event doesn't work out very well. So what I had to get the logic to do is if an event has a meeting scheduled in at the hour before, during, or the hour after the meeting, then it cannot show me that any Zoom meetings from that particular account when I hit the save button, so I can't accidentally double book things. And that right there has been worth all of this time I've spent in this program.
Good deal. Yeah, that is one of those things to be careful of, because you'll have, facilitators showing up like, wait, what are these people doing here? Like, wait, what are you doing here? Why are you bombing our Zoom?
They'll close the other meeting that's running. Because if it's in a different meeting and someone else is in there, they'll say, oh, there's another meeting going on. Would you like to end that meeting? And a lot of times people will be like, yes.
Like, yeah. I don't know what they're doing.
It's my turn.
Shut that down.
Yeah. So my goal is to prevent that from happening. So that's the builder tool. And have you tried running it on the Mac yet? Because I have not.
I haven't, and I'm trying to remember what issue I ran into last time. I think I did get PySide installed. Oh, there's some more dependencies I got.
Yeah.
And I got sidetracked on another project because I have been working on automatically generating a few spreadsheets. So I have several spreadsheets, and I need to get stuff consolidated down. I have used the agent mode in ChatGPT this week to run some of these very poorly structured documents through to try to get the information, and then done what I could to verify, which I've been able to verify, at least with the very important ones. Like, yeah, the data spit back out in a better format for me is actually correct. But that's been interesting using agent mode. I haven't sent it out to do anything. I was just like, oh, well, maybe you'll be a little smarter if I give you this weird document and tell you to format it and figure it out. And it's just done a fairly decent job of that,
like
for sure.
Email.
Yeah, man. Look, that is so. I don't understand people. Why would you send? And like, it's not people, but it's whoever. Yeah, it is people, because it's whoever coded this system, right? I get a report from my card processing system for the vending machines, and it's a XLS file, which naturally means you open this up in numbers if you're on the Mac, or you open it up in Excel if you're on Windows, or if you're super weird, you open it in Excel on the Mac. But we ain't talking about that. Shout out to Allison though, from the Pod Feet Empire, because I think she's a big Excel fan over numbers. But anyway, the spreadsheet is weird, right? And I can look at it and see there's HTML in cells, like spread out over the first 2 to 3 columns of the spreadsheet. So, this would be column A, B, and C. there's HTML that's kind of embedded in it. I was like, that's weird. And I looked at this for months and never had the thought until I fed it to the agent, and it was like, oh, well, I see that there's HTML embedded here. I don't remember exactly what it said that triggered this thought for me, but it's like, I think it was like I'm extracting the HTML from this and then, whatever. I was like, wait a minute. What happens if I just go hit return on this file name, change the extension from XLS to HTML? Does it? Oh, look, there's a nice table that gives me all the crap I need. All right, great. I still use the spreadsheet I got from the agent mode though, because I had to give me some totals at the bottom. But because I could change the file extension, I was able to look at it and verify, like, yeah, the number you gave me is also the numbers that I added up here myself. So, okay, cool. We're good. But that was one of those kind of real dull moments for me. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of this.
Because you thought it was a spreadsheet. Like,
I mean, it was a spreadsheet. And I guess because it was a spreadsheet and not like, a text file or something like that, where I'm like, oh, well, obviously I can change the extension and then it'll behave differently. I guess I just didn't think that logic applied to spreadsheets because I kind of don't mess with spreadsheets in a sense. I try to work those out. Let those be how they are because I'm a novice when it comes to spreadsheets. In my opinion, given the things I know other people can do, I feel like I'm a novice when it comes to spreadsheets. A question occurred to me while you were talking about the telephone system, though, in the script for that, and potentially using AI for that voicing in the future. Have you considered or given any thought to what AI voice systems like 11 Labs and a couple of other ones that seem to be getting pretty good are going to do for voiceover work for people?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm interested. If you listen carefully, you can tell when an AI system is being used, even the most natural sounding ones.
Yeah, like the ones that call and say, hey, I'm Jody calling from such and such. I'm like, you're a fucking robot, man. Get off my phone.
Yeah. Yeah. But even it's a lot of times it comes down to the inflection and
Yep.
where it adds inflection. Now, Microsoft Azure has SXML support. And so it's speech XML formatting. So you can tell it to talk faster or talk slower or emphasize this or shout this and give it feedback. And I think that's when more of these realistic AI systems are able to start parsing that data, that's really where it's going to be. Yeah, jobs I think will eventually start getting lost. It's not going to be perfect yet. But it'll come, I think.
Well, will there be a shift from, because obviously, companies are going to go to using AI because it's cheaper, right? Like the automated calls I get now, like some of them that I happen to, mistakenly pick up are literally some AI system that is way better than it was, a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago. You would get the automated call and it would be a robot. Now, if you're not listening carefully, and it's not like, hi, I'm calling from such and such. Hello, can you hear me? Like, it's not those, it's significantly better, but you can tell again, the inflection and the weird pauses. There's just something about it.
Even when they add background office sounds to it, like you can tell.
Yeah. So obviously they're going to use those because those can be cheaper than hiring a person to do a thing. But I wonder if we're going to see a hard swing in that direction. People are going to get annoyed by it and stop listening or start blocking numbers. But I'm wondering if we end up with a balance of there's still going to be room for, extraordinarily good voice professionals. Sure. But if we see maybe where people would normally get a start as a voice over artist or doing voicing for a script, would get a gig. If you don't start seeing people getting gigs, being able to program the voice for the right emotion and expression.
That's interesting. Like not actually having to use your voice, but use your talents and your abilities to program the voice that clients want to use to sound the way that the client wants them to use. That's okay. I need to get into, hey, Chat GPT, come here. We're gonna work together to create a a system in place. I really want to play with agent mode. The problem that I'm running into is I don't have any agent tasks for it to do. Like,
Oh, see, just give it something complicated though. Like it
okay.
doesn't, not even complicated. Like it doesn't have to be like go out because I've been using agent mode and I have not sent it out to do anything.
Ah,
I've been like, because my thought process went this way. Like, yeah, it's supposed to be able to go do stuff. I don't know what you can do, and I'm not sure if I want you to do anything anyway. But you should have more capability to process data since you have to go out and randomly do whatever weird, like go find me a plane ticket and book it or whatever. Add this to my Amazon cart, which I think was an example I heard somebody give on a show. I was like, well, this version of GPT couldn't fix this document, but I'm going to give it to you and see if you can do it agent mode. And agent mode has actually done pretty good with that sort of stuff.
okay. Maybe what I'll have it do is create, and I'll keep this brief because we're almost at the point where we should wrap up if we're going to target our time frame. But maybe it should create a marketing plan and start marketing the YouTube videos from our Technically Working show and see what it comes up with for that.
Yeah, well, see, there you go. There's somewhere to start. We could even we could, in theory, give it access to the bot if it thinks it can handle that. And
I don't know. That's creepy. The bot is tweeting is posting from the bot. Truly give the bot personality.
Hey man, we got it. We're technically working. We got to figure this stuff out, right?
Okay.
So that's actually not a bad. I hadn't thought about that, but that is a really good idea. Like start working on marketing for our episodes and driving traffic to say YouTube or something. And
when you're ready, we'll give you access to Mastodon.
Yeah, we'll give you access to the bot, and we'll see if you can handle it. Because I mean, I follow the bot, so I see what it posts.
I'm gonna give it this episode of Technically Working transcript and see how good agent mode does with it to market this episode. That'll be its first mission.
Maybe you should try giving it the raw audio file and see if it can deal with that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, can it produce a transcript and like compare the transcripts?
Probably. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good idea. Huh. I'll still run it through Alphonic and get that transcript, but then give it the audio after that.
Give it the audio first to see if it can actually make the transcript itself, and kind of do a quick comparison. And matter of fact, take it to a different. Take it to Perplexity. Like, hey, compare these two transcripts and tell me what's better. Yeah, so there we go. We're moving along. Updates. I am in the process of training a new employee. I am actually moving my focus more away. So I feel that one mistake I've made, and I may have said this on the show before, but I know that one mistake I have made for me specifically is I will hire a person and I will stop looking for the next person. And what I needed to do and what I need to do is to work on building a team of people. And silver lining to this whole accident, right, is now I'm having to take Ubers regularly because I have to go to physical therapy. The lady that is currently driving for me right now that has been working out so far this week is met her through Uber. We talked about this a while ago. I just had to have a reason to take an Uber. Like I wasn't not taking my own advice or your advice. It's just like can't just randomly get in an Uber. Like, oh, it's right around the block. No, you ain't gonna work. But got this lady that way. On my way to therapy a couple of days ago, I met another gentleman who seems like he could be a good, like my next up guy, because he already has a job. He works his job at night. He's still out doing Uber and stuff and other things during the day. So he's not dependent on me in the sense that like he needs to work every day, but he could be a great fill-in, which is what I talked to him about doing. So, we'll take him out probably in a couple of weeks just on a flyer to see how it goes, see how that works out. But making progress there. I feel like I should have a better training regimen in place. Like I should be sending people YouTube videos or something, but yeah, we ain't there yet.
Have ChatGPT generate a training.
Yeah. Give me a robot first that can, Well, I don't know. Maybe I could clip this, what is this thing called? It's the 360 thing. I should clip that on and like use that and have ChatGPT watch through the camera as I'm loading the machine, and then maybe it can create some stuff. Hook it up to Google's VO3, and then that makes my training videos. All right, now we may be working with something.
See, we have to embrace and use.
I want you to set a reminder to follow up on this whole creating generative AI training videos.
So
set that reminder for September 1st.
There you go. Yeah. You better do that, ChatGPT. Remind me about that, September 1st. I asked ChatGPT, can you look at the previous transcripts you have and tell me how many followers I had on TikTok? And it goes, well, I don't have any data on that from Technically Working. I'm like, I know I've given you that information because we talked about it. I think I had like 200 followers.
Maybe.
And then ChatGPT is like, would you like me to notify you if I do receive a transcript related to your TikTok follower updates? I'm like, sure. So my TikTok follower updates is 659. Let's see if it tells me if there was an update.
Hey, you just told me that you have 650.
Yeah, it'll come out and say that. Watch.
I do like the deep research in the analysis, the agent mode. Like you really go off and do a thing, and like I like the notifications that pop up on the phone.
Yes,
to let me know like, hey, this research is done. I have gotten into the habit of not looking at it on my phone though. I will always go back to the browser because the headings just don't show up on mobile.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like it remembers that I want headings, and they show up very well on the browser. Also, Safari is kind of in and out. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, mainly with lists.
It doesn't read lists well at all.
Yeah.
It is horrible. So I'm generally in Chrome because there's some weird edit field thing with Firefox on the Mac. I don't know. People need to stop changing stuff. I'm probably going to try out, that will be in something. Comment to
on
go to ChatGPT. All right.
I wonder if Perplexity will just be like, it is wrong. Here's what it told you, but here's the right answer.
That will be awesome. And hopefully, I am optimistic that I will get started working on the website this week.
Okay.
I got a couple of tests to run to figure out what I'm going to just use. I would prefer to fall back to my typical programmery rock stack, but I want to see if Claude Code can work with that. If not, I'll just build a regular freaking WordPress site. And I got to customize the theme, so we'll make that happen. Shout out to GeneratePress for still being one of the fastest WordPress themes ever. 10 years later.
Yes, sir. Even with Generate Blocks. One last announcement I want to make before we jump out of here, because we're going to wrap it up soon, is Bit is holding a free to all. We'll tell you more sometime in the very near future, but it's on the 16th. So watch the bot and we'll make sure it lets you know as soon as all the details are hammered out about where it's going to be. But it's free to the public and it's open to everyone. It's going to be a 4-hour VS Code crash course for people who are interested in getting familiar with VS Code and configuring it for best use from a screen reader's perspective and leveraging GitHub Copilot. And I'm learning about profiles so I can talk to people about profiles and primarily just getting started with VS Code. It's going to be on the 16th of August. That is 2 Saturdays from today, which is also 2 Saturdays from the day that you're hearing it, because that's the 16th. So keep an ear out, bits-acb.org for information on that if you want to participate, or go to joinbits.org, which will actually take you to the same place and become a life member of Bits, because I can actually say that now that I am finally a life member.
I mean, you could have said it before you were a lifetime.
Yeah, because you were a life member. One of us had to be a life member before we went and told people to become a life member, I feel like.
I mean, no. I don't agree with that at all.
Okay.
Like, I'm just giving people good advice. Doesn't mean I'm following my own advice all the time.
Well, that is true. Yes.
I mean, listen, man, I'm a tech consultant. I advise people on what to do all the time. It doesn't mean I absolutely do that thing every single time that I tell them to do.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, become a Bits Life member.
Yeah, or just become a Bits member. If you're not ready to jump into a lifetime because you don't know what the organization is about and anything like that, just join up and give it a try. It is a great place to, as you can hear from listening to the show, Bits is doing quite a bit. And this crash course, I think, is going to be extremely helpful. Profiles are interesting. Profiles everywhere are interesting. Sometimes they're great, sometimes not so great. I have played with them a little bit in VS Code, but also don't use VS Code enough. I should get heavier into usage for no other reason that, it's on at least 2 platforms. Well, probably 3. I guess it's on all platforms if you use VS Code on the web, huh?
Yeah.
So there's always that option, although, what up on Android still isn't spectacular. It's better. Anyway, be sure to stay tuned. We'll notify you about that, or follow the bot. And you can do that by following TW at technically.social on Mastodon. He's Payon, Payown at dragonscave.space. And I'm Damashe, Damashe at technically.social. And use hashtag technically working, which we probably won't apply to this notes update. So follow the bot for that. But you can use the hashtag technically working. We appreciate it if you capitalize the T and the W, just to be in a conversation. Big shout out and thanks to our tip jar supporters. Thanks to each and every one of you. And thanks to all of you for listening and for sharing the show with people. We appreciate it. Continue to do so. Remember, we're also on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you can get your podcast. And if we ain't there, let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, and send your emails and comments, thoughts, feedback to feedback@technicallyworking.show.
Have you gotten any feedback recently?
We have not.
Oh, okay.
But
is email working?
Because people probably expected I'm not looking at it, but I actually am. No, I actually looked at it today, and the last thing I got is that guide from Keyboard Maestro.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, email is working. It's solid, and I just renewed the email service that makes it work today. So we're good. This has been episode 122 of Technically Working, and thanks for listening.